Hello, my name is Dwayne Dortch, and I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of our video series on EdgeWorkers. In a previous video, we talked about getting started with debugging using standard debug headers. In this video, we'll show you how to get more in-depth debug information using the enhanced debug headers and JavaScript logging. So in addition to the standard debug information, enhanced debug headers include a status message, as well as the amount of wall time, CPU time, and memory consumed by the event handler. You can also configure enhanced debug headers to provide information about HTTP sub-requests. To receive this enhanced debugging information, you have to do a few things. First, you've got to add a secret key variable to your property. You also have to generate an authentication token. And then you have to use the Akamai EWTrace request header that contains a secret authentication token. And you have to use one of the standard pragma headers that we discussed in the standard debug video. First, to enable enhanced debug headers, you need to add a secret key to your property. This secret key is later used to generate the authentication token used in the enhanced debug header request. Let's start by using the EdgeWorkers CLI to generate a secret key. You can follow the documentation in the description below for instructions on installing and using the EdgeWorkers CLI. We'll use the EdgeWorkers secret CLI command to generate a secret key. Here's an example of the secret key that's generated as a result. Next, we need to add the user-defined variable called EWDebugKey to your property. So here in the property variables section of my property, I'm going to add a new variable. And that variable name again is EW_debug_key. We'll enter the secret key that we created in the first step into the initial value field. We'll select this sensitive security setting to prevent exposing the key, and then we'll save and activate our property either in staging or production. Well, now that we have a secret key added to our updated property, we can issue a request to our edge worker using the Akamai EWTrace request header, in addition to the standard request header. The Akamai EWTrace request header requires an authentication token, so we can use the EdgeWorkers CLI Auth command to generate this token. In this example, we're requesting a token that expires after 60 minutes. And we'll use the output of this EdgeWorkers secret command as the final input into the auth command. And here's an example of the token that's provided. Next, we want to use the output of that auth command in our Akamai EWTrace request header. In this case, I'll set the request header in the mod header browser plugin. And turn on both the pragma header and the EWTrace header when accessing my EdgeWorker page. Now let's make a request to the EdgeWorker page from the browser with our request headers turned on and examine the response in DevTools. Note the additional response data, including the resource tier, initialization wall time, initialization CPU time, and memory usage. You'll also see a more detailed status message for any EdgeWorker failures. We can also execute our EdgeWorker from the command line using the curl command. In this example, I'm passing the pragma header and EWTrace headers using the -h flag. Note that the EWTrace header includes the auth token from the auth CLI command. Capturing log messages is another way to help debug your EdgeWorkers. In addition to logging static strings, you can also use variable substitution to include dynamic data in the EdgeWorkers logs. The enhanced debug headers that we just set up must be turned on in order to view logging data results. Our Hello World example includes some logging. Let's take a closer look at it. The first thing we've got to do is import the logger module export function. Then we can add logging messages into the event handlers of our choice. Here we see that we're logging a dynamic message in the onClient request event. In this example, we're including the content of request.path in the message. We're also logging a static message in the onClient response event. Now notice the log messages included in the enhanced debug output, including our request.path data. Additional details on logging, including limitations, are included on the documentation page linked below. Also, you can integrate EdgeWorkers logging into the Akamai log delivery service. This will help provide visibility into EdgeWorkers status and failure over the requested time period. Enhanced debugging and logging provides the additional information you need to understand the execution status of your EdgeWorkers. Be sure to check out our other videos in the EdgeWorkers series. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.